Now we'll be continuing our focus as we look ahead of the sectors. We need to sort out some agenda for those out there. Chukwuma Ezeala joins us now. He's a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on already. Thank you for coming on this morning, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm still seeing a lot of comments coming through about Mr. Bakare's comments. But Chukwuma, thank you for coming on. I said, welcoming you again. We're trying to look ahead this year to see, okay, look, so many activities will happen, and then how will this agency or this institution or this arm of government respond to it? What is expected of them, and that, as well as the followers, the citizens, ourselves, judiciary? That's your legal practitioner. I mean, it raises a lot of concern for so many of us, because we do remember it was at that time when they were giving out some of these injunctions that the phrase came from a district governor, black market injunctions. And recently we had a bomb go off in one of the high courts in Rivers. How do we avoid this kind of scenario? So do you see that the judiciary can this time avoid any such that will bring upon itself this kind of scenario?
Yes, I think the judiciary will do better this time.
Why do you say so?
Because of the person at the helm of affairs. As we are talking now, many judges may be disciplined.
Many?
Yes. Maybe up to 15 of them may be disciplined. They are already facing disciplinary committee of the NJC. And that is a good omen for us, and that also sends signals to other judges who may not want to, behave well. Also, lawyers so many of them are now facing disciplinary panels. So on the part of the judiciary, I think the best thing that has happened to the judiciary is the person of the Chief Justice of Nigeria today. So that is for the judiciary. And that is why also in the same River State, you have the problem of who is the Chief Judge of River State. The NJC refused the person given by the governor, or whose name was sent by the governor. So
why do you think that happened?
The NJC feels that the most senior, if you want to send somebody in the acting capacity, you must send the most senior judge in the judiciary or in the high court, from the high court. And the River State government sent somebody who had left the high court to the customary court. So NJC said, we already have parameters, and that is a problem. But we think all those things will be resolved, and because we still have this confidence that the judiciary will finally help Nigeria solve some of its problems.
Do they have meetings, maybe from the CJN, either from the bar or the bench, telling the judiciary that, look, this time around, you really need to be above board to ensure that no politician, no member of the public has this impression that the judiciary can be bought over?
Yes, I think the NJC have been doing that, and the MB have been advising the NJC too, but that is by way of public commentaries. But the NJC as a body, for some time now, they've been sending the right signals, both to the chief judges of the states, to the judges, both the Supreme Court justices and the Court of Appeal justices, on the need to help to restore the confidence of the people to the judiciary.
So you think indeed that this is going to be a good year for the judiciary, from what you can see so far from the pointers you saw in 2013? There are things to be hopeful for in 2014, especially as regards the judiciary. Is that what you see?
Yes, I think there are pointers showing that it will be better this year. Mm-hmm. But I also think there are areas they will need to look at. The area of expediency, being a bit fast. It's not necessarily, it's also part of the system, part of their budgets. If their budgeting system allows the judiciary to be modernized, and then the appointment system, which does not also necessarily depend on the judiciary, it depends on the executive. Mm-hmm. So if the appointing system or the appointment system takes care of that, if for instance you're thinking of appointing a judge and you appoint a judge who is computer literate, mm-hmm. It becomes easier for the judge to move faster, deliver its judgment faster, send the judgment out for execution Sometimes judgments are given and before they are out, it takes a little more time. So when you do that and you have the system where you have recorders in courts, in all the courts, so the judge can now be very free and be faster in terms of adjudication, or in terms of the way the judge takes up its cases.
Perhaps if we'll talk about the pointers you say you see, maybe that can help us get a better picture of what is expected of the judiciary this year. What do you mean when you say you have some pointers that will show that the year will be good?
No, I have already said that if the overall head of the judiciary is doing well and has a plan of action, particularly how to make the judges deliver judgments that are in accord with the law, and take petitions up. Before you write petitions to them, they don't respond, they don't do anything, they don't investigate. But now judges know that they can be investigated. So that at least gives us, a little hope. But the rot in the system has been there. It's been more than 30 years. When the military came in, they sacked the judges that could perform better. And they had their cronies, and now we have lawyers who enter the judiciary who have all sorts of characters. So it's not something that, it's not going to be magic, because it's not revolution.
Well, what do you see happening, because it's a peculiar year, really, a year preceding the general elections, and there's this that has been talked about, even though not so prominently yet, where election cases are supposed to be concluded before the elected officials are sworn in. How do you see that playing out with the judiciary?
It's possible. It's possible to say election cases, but again, like I said, is the head, and the head of judiciary is trying to see how they can really finish election cases before the swearing in. But more importantly will now be, how will INEC play its role if there are transparent elections and people win clean? There will be less cases in the judiciary, but a situation whereby all the cases go back to the judiciary. How many judges do we have? Do they also abandon all other cases they have to just face election petitions?
That's another point we will come to shortly. But remember, when this kind of scenario happened, when there was a little amendment, then they came up with this front-loading system. Yes, they practiced it, but there was a lot of complaints too about it. Now that we have this one, who knows what practice directions will be given this time?
I think the same practice directions are still there. Practice directions don't just change every day. There is front-loading, but when you front-load, when you have 1,000-paged document from one party, you have from the petitioner, you have from the defendant, you have from the political party, you have from INEC. It's one man or three men that are going to read. You have to call the cases. Some people will give you 50 witnesses. These 50 witnesses you're supposed to take within 1 month. Some of them may not be available. So you see, most of these issues are not necessarily that of the judiciary. It's also part of the system. You have INEC delaying in giving you the information you need. You have INEC delaying in bringing the witnesses you require. So that's why we think that the most important thing will be for the elections to be conducted in a better manner, so that fewer people will go to court. Or when you go to court, it will maybe be issues just like in 1993. The issues that were being contested that time was there were issues of maybe numbers which may not require calling of many witnesses. There may be issues of certificate forgery. Not that INEC did not conduct elections well.
Okay, conclude your thoughts on what you were going to say about what kind of judges. How will they be designated? Will they stop the regular civil cases and focus on election cases? How do you think it should be handled?
There is nothing. We can't abandon criminal matters and all of us will complain. Land matters, all of us will complain. All other matters, all of us will complain, and everybody will go into election matters. So it's still also a question of INEC, do your work.
No, but they will still bear the brunt, because if you're supposed to conclude all those cases before people are sworn in, and if you have a timeline for which those cases have got to be concluded, you have to expedite action.
Yeah, but not all the judges are going to election position. Just some of them are appointed for the
yes,
election.
but those ones who will be moved from one case to the other.
Yes.
What will happen to the cases? Will
The cases will be suspended. There will be a law, and these are prices we are paying, and that is why also the time lag is also very important, that they can conclude it and go back to their cases.